Ethan's white moonlight was diagnosed with cancer and wanted to marry the person she loved most before passing away. He gave her the wedding dress I had personally designed. He also handed over the wedding that originally belonged to me to her. Lillian, this is her final wish, I must fulfill it for her. I know this is unfair to you, but you've always been kind and generous, you shouldn't mind this matter. After this is over, I'll make it up to you properly. My cold laugh dispersed years of affection like smoke. Then I wish Ethan a happy marriage and a harmonious union for 100 years. Since he doesn't hold me in his heart, I will become the distant cold star beyond his reach. What do you mean? Those eyes filled with guilt suddenly widened. The literal meaning, Ethan is getting married, and as a friend, I should at least offer my blessings to you. Seeing my indifferent and distant demeanor, he threw a tantrum. Lillian. Do you even know what you're saying? The moment he finished shouting, perhaps thinking of something, his expression softened slightly. I know you're angry and resent me, but there's no need to call me so formally. By saying this, what are you treating me as? Treating you as what? Ethan is about to start a family, what are you treating me as? In that case, I can only take the initiative to distance myself to avoid any misunderstandings from your new wife about our relationship. You've always been virtuous and obedient, why are you being so unreasonable today? She's dying soon, what harm is there in letting her have this once? It's not like you're losing a piece of flesh. Weddings and men cannot be shared, that's my principle. Ethan grabbed my hand forcefully. Usually, I've spoiled you too much, making you unable to distinguish priorities. I turned to face him, but encountered a vast glacier. So in your heart, you've already distinguished between me and her in terms of priority, right? He was stunned, lowering his eyes in contemplation. Don't misunderstand, I spoke wrongly in anger just now. I do have you in my heart, you and she are equally important to me. I laughed. If she and I were equally important, how could he deprive me of my wedding and give it to her? Don't throw these unseemly little tantrums anymore, if others see, the only one losing face is you, the future Mrs. Xia. My heart seemed to grow wrinkles, aging many years in an instant. I didn't want to pay attention to the noise in my ears, packing my things to leave. Where do you think you're going? Didn't you hear what I said? I ignored him, continuing to pack my things, but the moment I stepped out the door, he forcefully pulled me back. Ah! My foot slipped, and my knee hit the threshold, scraping off a layer of skin. His cold eyes tinged with some panic as he rummaged through cabinets for medicine, but a cry disrupted everything. Ouch! Looking up, Bella was sitting in the corridor in front of the door, rubbing her injured ankle. Sunlight scattered golden scales, illuminating her delicately carved face. With tears in her eyes as she looked up, it was like shattered stars falling to earth. She was truly beautiful, and I only resembled her somewhat. It was because of this resemblance that, upon first seeing me, Ethan embraced me without hesitation, crying like a baby. At that time, he was a penniless young man. Even with all his enthusiasm, it wasn't enough to move the high-hanging bright moon to shine a beam of light on him. But the resemblance in my brows and eyes made him reminisce through objects. He recounted his failures, his humiliations and grievances, softening my heart a bit. At that time I had just gone through a breakup. It seemed like fate that I met a man who resembled him so much, and for a moment, I couldn't bear to push him away. We came together, and over countless days and nights, emotions that were hard to articulate slowly grew between us. Looking back now, one really shouldn't pity someone lightly. Ethan's hand holding the medicine paused. After glancing at me fallen on the ground, he ran to her without hesitation. Are you okay? Where are you hurt? How could you be so careless? His gentle eyes remained fixed on her ankle, examining it carefully. His hands caressed lightly, as if cherishing a treasure, not daring to apply any force. Brother Ethan, I just suddenly felt unwell and couldn't stand steady, making you worry. Crystal clear teardrops flowed down her jade-like cheeks. I'm sorry, Brother Ethan, it's me who put you in a difficult position. It's all my fault, blame my useless body. If only I weren't sick, then I wouldn't have realized my feelings, and I wouldn't have come to disturb you and Sister Lillian's life, and you wouldn't argue because of me." She sobbed like an injured and helpless young animal. He wiped her tears and gently massaged her ankle. Don't cry, this isn't your fault. If anyone is to blame, it's certain people who don't understand the bigger picture." His peripheral vision swept over me, completely unlike the gentleness he showed her. Once upon a time, that gentleness was exclusively mine. As soon as Bella arrived, what belonged to me ceased to exist. "It's me who has wronged Sister Lillian, it's only right for her to be angry and scold me." Saying this, she turned and knelt before me. "Bella, what are you doing?" He was stunned, hastily asking, his face mixed with obvious anger. She cowed out heavily, but only lightly touched the ground. "It's all my fault, Sister Lillian. If you want to blame someone, blame me. It has nothing to do with Brother Ethan. I beg you not to vent your anger on him." She spoke sincerely, with tears falling just right. Her sweet voice carried a magical power, causing someone to inexplicably lose reason and fail to distinguish right from wrong. "Get up quickly, this is my decision, it has nothing to do with you, you don't owe anyone." Seeing he couldn't pull her up, anger surged to his brows. A chill assaulted me, my heart instantly sealed by ice and snow. "Lillian, that's enough, how long do you want to make a fuss? It's just a wedding, what harm is there in letting her have it? I said I'd compensate you, isn't that enough? What more do you want?" I looked at my still bleeding wound, pulling a disappointed mocking smile at the corner of my mouth. "Bella knelt to you, aren't you satisfied? Who are you putting on this detestable act for? Do you want me to kneel and beg you too?" I raised my head, expressionless. "Fine, then kneel." He was stunned, gritting his teeth and saying, "You're not worthy." Saying this, he picked up Bella, looking distrustedly at her reddened knees. "They're so red from kneeling, does it hurt? Brother Ethan, put me down, these are what I deserve." He glanced over my still bleeding knee, indifferently passing by me and heading to the inner room. Behind, a heavy object fell and rolled toward me. Turning my head, a bottle of iodine came into view, and in my peripheral vision, I caught Bella's vicious gaze. Behind my ear rang his heartless voice, "Handle it yourself, don't let your blood dirty the floor." I supported myself on the doorframe to stand, ignoring the faintly aching wound, resolutely walking out the door. His concern was entirely on Bella, he didn't know I had already left the house. It wasn't until the butler informed him that he learned I had departed. The roar of a car reached my ears. "Where are you going?" The angry question had just landed when a hand pulled me into an embrace. "Let me go." "Lillian, I'm telling you, you're my fiancé, in life, you're my person, in death, you're my ghost, don't even think about escaping." If it were in the past, I would have sunk into his domineering possessiveness. But now, I only felt disgusted. "Ethan, restricting another's personal freedom is illegal, even if you've achieved success. I presume you haven't reached the point of daring to violate the law, right?" His eyes staring at me seemed about to spew fire as he snatched my phone. "Give it to me." The struggle was fruitless, so I stomped hard on his foot. "Ethan, if you dare to do it, dare to admit it, be a man, don't make me look down on you." "Lillian, don't provoke me with these words, you're mine, and so is she." He forcibly dragged me into the car. No matter how I shouted, the surrounding people turned a blind eye. In the end, like a prisoner, I was confined to the bedroom. Meals were delivered by servants, and I couldn't step out of the room at all. At this moment, the Xie family home was like a heavily guarded palace, surrounded inside and out by people. I thought about escaping, but in the strictly defended Xie residence, it ultimately turned into bubbles. "Miss Lillian, please eat a little, don't starve yourself." I was on a hunger strike in protest, and the servant advised me by my ear. "Yes, Sister Lillian, please eat something." Bella walked into the bedroom with noble and elegant steps. "Miss Bella. I want to talk with Sister Lillian for a while, you can leave first." The servant withdrew. Bella's face, full of concern, instantly underwent a drastic change. She sarcastically looked me up and down, unable to hold back a snort of laughter. "No wonder Brother Ethan loves you so much, you do resemble me somewhat, but unfortunately, it's just imitating superficially, hard to capture the essence. Saying this, she stroked my cheek, tisk-sking twice. After all, little sister is a few years younger, can't compare to big sister's steadiness and maturity. My brows and eyes gained some sarcasm, unceremoniously piercing her thoughts. You're trying to say I'm old, and you're still young. Oh, sister, don't misunderstand me, little sister didn't mean that. Instead of being a proper person, you insist on being an object for everyone to admire, not wanting dignity yourself. Don't drag me into it, I find it embarrassing. Also, don't try to get close to me, I don't have a sister like you with improper conduct who doesn't see herself as a person. Bella's hand paused, her brows and eyes gaining sharpness, her chest heaving violently. If I were you, facing a man who doesn't love me, I'd rather leave altogether, to avoid staying here being in the way and embarrassing myself. I detected her purpose. She felt I was a threat and wanted to force me to leave. If I were you, I wouldn't break up couples or ruin marriages. You know, good deeds bring good rewards, evil deeds bring evil retribution. Sister's mouth is really venomous. If brother Ethan heard such poisonous words from you, do you think the last bit of affection he has left for you would completely dissipate? And what about you? If he knew you act one way to his face and another behind his back, would he still love you like this? Moreover, I heard that when he was at his lowest, you humiliated him quite a bit behind his back. Her pupils suddenly contracted, and she retreated 2 steps abruptly. Don't slander me without evidence. Since you think I'm slandering, what are you afraid of? Her gaze wandered, taking half a day to calm down. How do you know? Who told you? I smiled without speaking. Tell me quickly, who told you? How do you know? She grabbed my shoulders like facing a great enemy, her vicious eyes staring fixedly at me. I calmly watched her go mad, silently stroking the diamond ring on my middle finger. This 5-carat diamond ring was bought by Ethan for our engagement. Now, it should be returned. She noticed the diamond ring on my hand and snatched it without hesitation. In an instant, her body shook like a sieve, her angry eyes seeming to drip blood. He actually was willing to buy such an expensive diamond ring for you. She put the ring on her finger. Tomorrow, Ethan and I are getting married, this will be perfect. I don't care how you know, but I warn you, don't tell him, or I'll make your life worse than death. I smiled indifferently, with a touch of mockery. Rest assured, I'll never tell him. Really? Of course. Hearing my affirmative tone, she was somewhat puzzled. Why? I paused and said, because I have something I want to ask for your help with. After hearing me out, she stood dumbfounded, her astonished gaze never leaving me. Miss Lillian, Ethan invites you to dinner. Walking into the dining room, Ethan and Bella sat side by side. Her head rested in Ethan's embrace, like a couple deeply in love and inseparable. Sister Lillian is here, we've been waiting for you. Ethan's gaze lingered on me for only 2 seconds before turning back to her. I sat opposite them, silently picking up my bowl and chopsticks. Tomorrow is the wedding, this is the diamond ring prepared for you. Bella opened the box, surprisedly covering her mouth, but unable to hide a flash of disappointment in the corner of her eyes. I saw it was a 3-carat diamond ring. Brother Ethan, you spent too much, I already have a diamond ring. She extended her hand, flaunting my sparkling diamond ring. In an instant, Ethan's brows furrowed tightly, grabbing her wrist. A dangerous aura spread, eyes spreading inch by inch. Isn't this Lillian's diamond ring? How is it on your hand? Brother Ethan, Did you snatch it? As soon as the words came out, Bella and I simultaneously looked at him. His eagle-like eyes seemed to hold a cold deep pool, hiding imperceptible thoughts. No. Bella's face was pale, somewhat panicked. She looked at me. It was Sister Lillian who gave it to me. She was worried I wouldn't have a suitable diamond ring tomorrow, so she lent me hers. His cold eyes narrowed slightly. In a moment, the wine glass in front of him fell, staining the white jade floor tiles red. Without asking me the truth, anger surged to his brain. Indeed, in his heart, he trusted Bella more. Fine, lending it to her, right? Just don't lend it, give it. This ring is yours now, you don't need to return it to her. A flash of astonishment passed through Bella's eyes, but in just a second, she leaned into Ethan's embrace. How can this be? How can I take Sister Lillian's things? I bought it with my money, when did it become hers? Since some people can't recognize their own status, I have no need to indulge them. You happen to lack some accessories, go to her room later and take whatever you like. Her eyes looking at me flashed with triumph. I knew Brother Ethan is the best to me. Sister Lillian, you won't be angry, right? The last trace of warmth in my heart completely dissipated, the heart that once throbbed with love returned to complete calm. I looked at the two, indifferently pulling a smile. Of course not angry, I'm happy for you, how could I not be? After dinner, Bella burst into my room, rummaging through everything. I didn't expect you to have so many valuable things. When picking up an ice-type jade bracelet, jealousy twisted her face grotesquely. Unfortunately, these are all mine now. Take whatever you want, no need to tell me this, don't forget our agreement. Rest assured, how could I forget? I just want you to immerse yourself better in the role. She put the bracelet on her hand and picked up another extremely ordinary bean-type jade bracelet. I remembered this bracelet was bought for me by Ethan when he earned his first pot of gold. Although it was only a few hundred yuan, it was the beginning of hope. I accompanied him step by step to achieve today's wealth. Even though he bought me more expensive items, I never discarded this bracelet. Instead, I often took it out to touch and clean. My eyes flickered with sorrow, staring at the bracelet, as if bidding farewell to our past selves. Snap. The bracelet shattered, accompanied by a gasp. Ethan quickly walked to Bella's side, distrustfully holding her hand. Are you okay? What happened? The drama queen's tears flowed on cue. I'm fine, it's just that Sister Lillian got angry. It's all my fault, I shouldn't have touched Sister Lillian's things. He looked down, the shattered bracelet was broken into 4 pieces. A flash of disdain passed through his eyes. It's just a broken bracelet, is it worth getting so angry? After all my calculations, I didn't anticipate this attitude from him. It seemed he didn't remember this item, nor the significance it represented. I looked up at him and asked flatly, whether I'm angry or not, what does it have to do with you? Lillian, Bella is so kind, she picked your poorest quality bracelet. Not being grateful is one thing, but daring to get angry at her? It's just a few hundred yuan trinket, being so stingy, what does that look like? He lifted his foot, kicking the shattered bracelet toward me, then turned to call the servants to move all my accessories to Bella's room. I looked at the bracelet abandoned like trash, raised my hand, and slap sounded as I hit Ethan's face. Ah, Sister Lillian, how can you hit Brother Ethan? Slap. Another crisp sound, and a light red mark appeared on Bella's face too. She whimpered and threw herself at Ethan, acting earnestly. Brother Ethan, Sister Lillian really doesn't like me, I'd better leave, not stay here to be an eyesore to Sister Lillian, apologize. As expected, he indeed got angry. Apologize? My dictionary doesn't have the word apologize. Speaking of apologies, it's Ethan who owes me one. Are you worthy? He spoke unceremoniously, one sentence completely shattering all past beauty. The hardships I accompanied him through, in the end, couldn't exchange for a shred of respect. In his eyes, our statuses were unequal. Since Ethan said that, I'll say one thing too, you're not worthy either. He pinched my neck, his cold eyes piercing through my pupils. If you don't want to apologize, then get out, from now on, don't even think of stepping foot here again. Words fallen, he released his hand, held Bella, and left without looking back. I stroked my neck, revealing a successful smile. I've already helped you successfully escape the Xie family. Afterward, please don't appear in front of Ethan, that's the best repayment to me. Bella stood at the door. If you're willing to tell me who told you that I humiliated Brother Ethan, I can give you some money. Seeing I ignored her, she turned back to the brightly lit villa. I stood under the streetlight, carrying my handbag, walking into the distance. The next day, their wedding climbed to the hot topics, with countless netizens arguing fiercely. Wait, did the bride get plastic surgery? She doesn't look as comfortable as before, the original look was better, the post-surgery face carries some sharpness and calculation. What plastic surgery, this is a different person. The wedding dress design is amazing, I'm getting married next week, begging for the wedding dress link. The one above, don't think about it, I heard this wedding dress is from a haute couture wedding dress designer at Ethan's company. Any work from this designer's hands is stunning, and all are unique pieces, snatched up before even being displayed to the public. Unfortunately, this designer never shows their face. If this one resigns, they'll definitely be crazily recruited by various companies. Honestly, this designer could totally go independent. I ignored the online comments, walking to my workstation to pack my things. Sister Lillian, what are you doing? The manager stood beside, full of worry. I've already submitted my resignation letter to Ethan, I won't be working here anymore, take care of yourselves. Is there some misunderstanding between you and Ethan? Should we wait for Ethan to come back and ask? I chuckled lightly, what misunderstanding could there be? This company was founded step by step with me accompanying him. I poured countless efforts into it. Countless days and nights, working tirelessly in front of the computer drawing. I still remember when we signed a big order because of a popular wedding dress, that season's revenue surged by 30%. We danced with joy, embracing with tears in our eyes. Now, the company has matured, with design talents flooding in, no longer urgently needing me as before. Looking around, only coldness and strangeness remained. No need. Dropping this sentence, I walked out the company door without hesitation. Beep beep. At the door, a black car stopped by the roadside. Lillian, get in quickly. Sunny sat in the car smiling at me. She is my best friend, we've known each other for over a decade. I opened the door and sat in the passenger seat, her words flowed endlessly into my ears. I knew you wouldn't take such grievance, you definitely would resign. So, you came here early to wait for me. Of course, with such an exceptionally talented designer like you resigning, I definitely have to strike first, can't let others snatch the opportunity. I was amused by her light-hearted tone. Recalling the past, whenever I was unhappy, she could always instantly resolve my mood. Thinking now, some affections really aren't as reliable as friendship. Lillian, come help me, okay? You know I've always wanted to open a wedding dress company, I'm just missing a top-tier wedding dress designer like you. Before, you didn't agree to my request because of Ethan, now that he's treated you like that, don't you have to give him some trouble? Pfft, I know you have concerns, but it's okay, I have some savings, plus some loans, you provide the skills, and I absolutely won't let my sister bear any risk. Listening to her relaxed words, a genuine smile finally appeared on my face. How can that be? Lillian. I mean, since we've decided to partner, how can I let you bear all the risks alone? Over these years, I've saved some money too, it should be enough to open a small company. She didn't react immediately, opening her mouth in astonishment. People still need their own careers, compared to illusory and perishable emotions, career is our foundation. Fortunately, over these years, I haven't wasted my time. Even when Ethan wanted me to return to family life, I resolutely chose to persist in my career and hobbies. That's what gave me the courage to break with him without fear and leave decisively. Her pupils looking at me were full of shock. I didn't expect his betrayal to make you see so many things clearly, this is my original clear-headed best friend. I temporarily stayed at Sunny's home and took out a bank card. She looked at my bank card balance in surprise, counting the digits. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 10 million, oh my God, how did you do it? Commissions and bonuses, and part of it was given to me by Ethan as thanks. Her lips trembled nonstop. No, you have to be the boss, I'll be the second in command. Seeing her resolute demeanor, I didn't argue with her. Running around, in 1 month, the company was established. We named it, New Life. Did you hear? Bella is pregnant. Bella? Which one? Ethan's wife, also our boss's love rival. Ah? The employee's gossip reached the office. Sunny angrily rolled up her sleeves. These people are talking too loudly, it's disturbing me, I'll go and come back. It's okay, let them talk. Lillian, didn't you say that Bella had cancer, advanced stage, how can she be pregnant and have a child? I raised the corner of my lips in an indifferent smile. What if it's fake? Fake? Does Ethan know about this? He can't be that stupid to really fall for her trick, right? His matters have nothing to do with me. Once, most of my thoughts were on Ethan. Now, I only care about the company's revenue and whether I can design a blockbuster wedding dress. There's another thing about Ethan that you'll definitely be interested in. Leonard from XX Company needs to order a batch of wedding dresses and is looking for collaboration. Reportedly, this time he's more inclined to choose Ethan. In my memory, a face appeared. I remember him, he had dealt with Ethan many times. He is meticulous. His requirements for wedding dresses are strict, nitpicking, unable to accept any flaws. All the company's designers were rejected by him, including me. After more than 20 revisions, I finally drew the perfect wedding dress in his mind. Although a bit difficult, payments were extremely fast. His collaborations were all handed to me by Ethan. Under the guise, only you can handle such a tricky client. Afterward, every time Leonard's company came for collaboration, I handled it. At first, it would be rejected a dozen times. In the end, after successful adaptation, it passed in one go. He generously gave praise, calling our company one of the most promising wedding dress companies. I understand his preferences, know his style. It can be said that in the wedding dress industry, no one understands what he likes better than me. The company is just starting, we must build a reputation, and he is the best entry point. So this big order, I am determined to get. Ethan, I'm really sorry. This order, I want it. After hearing me, Sunny's mouth could swallow an egg. Lillian, you're not joking, right? We're a new company, they definitely won't look at us. It's up to people, if they don't look, find an opportunity to make them look. You have a way? Tell me quickly. The key is on Bella. Ethan didn't actually marry Bella. That day was just to give her a wedding, fulfilling her dying dream. And I was certain Bella wouldn't be content with that. A close auntie of the Sia family told me. On the day I left, Bella climbed into Ethan's bed and got pregnant. She would definitely use this child as an excuse to persuade Ethan to marry her. But things didn't go as she expected. Ethan had no intention of marrying her. Instead, he was dissatisfied with her behavior, and the two had a fierce argument. I'm not gossipy, but Sunny gossiped for me. Taking my phone to type, because of what? Reportedly, a servant came to clean and saw that shattered bracelet, couldn't help crying, coincidentally seen by Ethan, who asked the reason, and then remembered the significance of that bracelet. I heard that day, Ethan stayed in the bedroom all day without coming out, even when Miss Bella called, he ignored her. Until the next day, Ethan's eyes were a bit red, and upon seeing Miss Bella, he argued, saying she shouldn't have touched that bracelet. Did she know what it represented? The two argued for several days. Miss Bella was so angry she fainted, sent to the hospital for checkup, only then knowing she was pregnant, and Ethan started caring. Seeing these words, I shook my head. Ethan is truly a fool. Doesn't cherish when present, pretends deep affection after loss. As if everything was acted by him. Ethan didn't plan to marry her because of her cancer. Unexpectedly, Miss Bella did a checkup and found she didn't have cancer. What happened? Miss Bella went to the original hospital, saying the report was taken wrongly, causing a farce. These days, she urges Ethan to marry every day. I see Ethan is a bit swayed. I couldn't help laughing out loud, claiming the report was taken wrongly. Such an absurd thing. Don't they look at the name on the report? But thinking, Ethan shouldn't be that stupid. After all, he's a man who's been through ups and downs, not to be fooled by such unseemly tricks. In my heart, you are the true mistress of the Sia family, Miss Lillian. You must snatch Ethan back. Snatch a man? I don't care for that. Moreover, one that's already dirty and rotten. I took the phone and sent a message. Tell Ethan that I've found my own Prince Charming, preparing to marry next month, tell him not to entangle anymore. Of course, these were lies to him. What I wanted was to promote his marriage to Bella. As expected, Ethan called me many times. During which, I unsparingly retorted. I don't like things others have used. What do you mean? Don't understand? You're already dirty, I don't want you. Lillian. He was angry. Are all these years of affection bubbles in your eyes? Wasn't it Ethan who first shattered our affection? How come now you're questioning me? The other side was silent for a long time before I heard the sinking murmur, I'm sorry. If apologies were useful, what about the scar stabbed in the heart? Am I cheap? Ethan, I'm telling you, we have no future. After saying that, I hung up. Half a month later, Ethan married Bella. But he still sent me an invitation through Auntie's phone, attached with a paragraph. Lillian, I love you, very much. This wedding is prepared for you. As long as you come, I'm willing to walk into the marriage hall with you, growing old together. Lillian, it's me who wronged you. I'm willing to make up for it with the rest of my life. For the first time, I saw ridiculousness in a pile of text. However, his invitation would indeed fulfill me. Since he knows he owes me, this time, fulfill it to the end. The wedding was crowded, the on-site setup even more luxurious than last time. The dishes on the table were all my favorites, showing he spent considerable effort. I hid in the crowd, dodging his searching gaze. That gaze gradually dimmed, lost. Finally, like a puppet on strings, he held Bella's hand and ascended the stage. By my ear was the MC's enthusiastic blessings. The two hearing the blessings had faces always hung with thick sorrow. My attention was entirely on Bella's wedding dress. This time's wedding dress was a design I hadn't seen. I know too well the styles of Ethan's designers, at a glance, it was from them. Although everyone has their tastes, I dare affirm this is definitely not the type Leonard likes. This point was enough. They held wine glasses, walking to tables to toast one by one. Congratulations on the wedding, wish Ethan and Madam a fulfilling life, loving till old. Bella raised the corners of her mouth, thanking back. In contrast, Ethan's body suddenly shook, his expression desolate, without half a bit of joy. He just perfunctorily clinked glasses, sipping lightly. Congratulations to Ethan and Madam. Leonard stood up, looking Bella up and down, suddenly frowning. Is this the latest designed wedding dress? Ethan's dim eyes then regained light. Yes, Leonard, this is our company's latest design, French lace and hand-inlaid pearls, every detail to create unique exclusivity, you see. Bella's face looked bad, clearly her wedding, yet interpreted by Ethan with extreme commerciality. She didn't care about the company or the wedding dress, what she wanted was something truly exclusive to her. Unfortunately, she was really too naive. Every event in wealthy families is hard not to carry commercial vibes. Besides the wedding dress, even the worn accessories, even food, venue, these are all elements of collaboration. Leonard frowned, as if a layer of ash fell between his brows. He raised his hand to indicate, okay, I know, wish Ethan a happy wedding, fulfilling life. Just simple blessings, without much discussion of the wedding dress. Ethan's face was anxious, but he could only let it go. Toasting table by table, until reaching my table. I stood up first, offering my blessings. The eyes shrouded in dust brightened again, faintly, with uncontrollable excitement. You came? His pupils hid teardrops, finally unable to hold back, sliding down the corners of his eyes. Everyone turned to look at us. In an instant, discussions arose one after another. Isn't this Lillian? Ethan's fiancée. Didn't she break up with Ethan? Why come to the wedding? What's the situation? Bella's face was extremely ugly, gnashing teeth but still having to show an elegant and generous smile. Sister Lillian, how did you come here? Ethan invited me. Her delicate face could no longer hold, twitching twice, staring at Ethan's eyes, anger continuously grew and spread. You're coming, does it mean you've forgiven me? He wiped the tears from his eyes, excitedly holding my hands under everyone's surprised and astonished gazes. I said, "As long as you come, this wedding is held for you." Such action caused an uproar in the whole venue. I withdrew my hands, stepping back 2 steps, with displeasure on my face. Once, Ethan, to fulfill Miss Bella's dying wish, didn't hesitate to give her the wedding that belonged to me. I saw some people looking at Ethan with deep confusion. Now Ethan like this, where does it place me? And where does it place Miss Bella? I saw Leonard walking toward me, looking up and down at my light blue gauze skirt, his eyes revealing astonished gaze. This was a skirt I specially designed for his preferences. The blue tone wouldn't steal the show, low-key yet showing elegance and temperament. It can be said every stitch catered to his vision. Pretending not to see Leonard, I continued speaking to Ethan. This time coming is to bless Ethan and Miss Bella as lovers finally becoming family. I'm happy for you, and also want to conclude with the past. From now on, besides business dealings, we have no entanglements. Business? Forgot to tell Ethan, I've established a wedding dress company. If Ethan needs collaboration, can contact me. Taking out my business card, stuffing it into his hand. He stared astonished at the 2 big words "new life" on the card in his hand, in a daze. Gently putting the card into his sleeve, raising eyes full of tears, voice choking, "Lillian, don't you want me anymore?" This appearance made my heart skip, avoiding his gaze and rubbing my temples. "Miss Lillian?" Leonard timely walked between us, his appreciative gaze never leaving. "Do you remember me?" "How could I not remember you? Previous collaborations were all docked by me with you." "Ha ha ha, good, good, is this skirt designed by you?" "Yes." Roughly explaining my ideas and inspirations, the light in Leonard's eyes never dimmed. "It's really too beautiful, may I have your business card?" "Of course." Still thinking of an excuse to give the card, unexpectedly Leonard directly asked for it. "Good, good, then I'll go back first." At this moment, Ethan was like a dazed chicken drenched in rain and snow. Besides astonishment, only terror remained. He approached half a step, close to my ear. "Lillian, you're not here to snatch my business, right?" Using the card to lightly pat his face, whispering, "Leonard hasn't collaborated with you yet, how can it be called snatching? The capable take it, understand? Lillian, come back, even if I beg you." I stepped back half a step to distance. "Ethan, other guests are still waiting for you." Looking around, countless gazes fell on him. He could only pick up the wine glass again, coping with the boring and painful wedding. The wedding ended, my phone rang immediately. As expected, it was Leonard, hoping our company could design a wedding dress for them. After discussing details, I designed day and night, sending 3 versions to Leonard. Leonard liked them tightly for days and finally decided, all 3. Crazily rushing production, in 1 quarter, earned half a year's money of Ethan's company. During this, Sunny ran around, pulling many clients, often busy forgetting to eat. I often sighed, fortunately having her, otherwise, alone, I really couldn't manage. Soon after, under Leonard's strong promotion, my designed wedding dresses exploded in popularity. The company's fame and status rose rapidly. Taking the opportunity, we expanded business to high-end gowns and other designs, receiving much praise. New Life also became a brand some celebrities scrambled to endorse. As for Ethan, since I left, their company's designs declined, long unable to produce market-shocking works. Plus his 2 weddings erupting in credibility crises, many clients ran to me, most were clients I had docked before. Company revenue sharply decreased, they could only shrink business scope, several branches closed. The main company still had sporadic orders supporting, for a time, wouldn't go bankrupt. The phone rang, Ethan called. "Lillian, it's me." "Ethan, what's the matter?" He hemmed and hawed for half a day before barely saying, "I want to collaborate with you." I responded with interest, "Say it, how do you want to collaborate?" "I want to buy several wedding dress design drawings from your company, you set the price." "That won't do." I refused outright, the benefits behind a good design are infinite. This point, Ethan, you should know. "Lillian, even if I beg you." His voice carried half a choke. I've thought of a good way for you. We happen to have a batch of newly produced wedding dresses. Your company can sell them on consignment. But isn't this just consignment sales? Ethan won't be too embarrassed to do that, right? He hesitated for a while, then said resignedly, okay, I agree. How about the price? For the sake of our past friendship, I can sell it to you at a 30% discount. After all, the price offered by consignments is generally between 30% and 70% off the original product. 70%? Lillian, can the price give a bit more? Does our affection only worth this? Yes, I said, for the sake of our past affection. I emphasized affection. The other side was silent for long. Obviously, he understood my meaning. Okay, I agree, sign the contract. On the day Ethan personally came to sign the contract, Bella burst into my office, cursing at me. You shameless woman, what intentions do you have calling him to your office to sign? I knew you still like him. At this time, she completely lacked her former radiance, like a housewife drained of blood by life and marriage. You shut up, I came myself, what does it have to do with Lillian? Lillian, you call so intimately, who exactly is your wife? Slap. A slap on her cheek. Bella, don't think I don't know what you've done. Do you really think I'm easy to fool? Do you think you're very smart, can play me around? She incredulously widened her eyes, listening to her husband uncover all her hypocrisy word by word. Your cancer was fake, just an excuse to approach me. He bitterly laughed, wrong report, ha ha ha, do you really think I'm stupid? He covered his face, tears streaming. Yes, I was indeed stupid, at first believed your lies, wronged Lillian, it's all because you broke my originally happy family. No, I didn't lie to you, I really didn't know. She cried, grabbing Ethan's sleeve tightly, like clutching the last straw. Still lying to me, but it doesn't matter anymore. If you weren't my white moonlight, a gold-digging woman like you, I wouldn't even bother looking. WH. What? When I had nothing, how did you curse me behind my back? Let me imitate for you. His eyes bloodshot, each word became shackles on Bella. He's just a loser, no money yet dares to chase me. Doesn't look at himself, really a toad lusting after swan meat. Hang him for fun first, at least can provide some emotional value. He almost finished with a bitter smile, each sentence enough to pierce his heart. No. How do you know? It's you told him, right? You promised me, you wouldn't say. Bella roared, grabbing toward me. Next second, she was pushed to the ground. It wasn't her who told me this matter, I overheard at the university study room door. At that time, only you and your two best friends were there. He forced a smile. Afterward, I told it to Lillian as a joke, and thus, gained a bit of her sympathy. Bella completely despaired, her whole body limp like boneless, slumping on the ground. No wonder Lillian promised never to tell you. Turns out, you knew long ago. Then why did you still get together with me? Because you're my white moonlight, the first girl I loved in my life. Even if you cursed and humiliated me, I still couldn't overcome my heart. I sat beside, thoughtful. The charm of first love is truly terrifying. He tears streaming, but his raised eyes increasingly resolute. But now, you're nothing in my heart. If not for you bearing me a son, I would have driven you out long ago. Words like blades, each stabbing the heart. When white moonlight becomes a cinnabar mole, past beauty instantly turns to bubbles. Bella was dumbfounded, sitting on the ground with empty eyes, like possessed, murmuring nonstop, no. She hugged her head crying bitterly, silly laughing nonstop. Bella went mad, sent by him to a mental hospital. Soon after, Ethan's poor management led the company to face huge financial crisis. I took the opportunity to acquire large shares, turning it into a subsidiary of New Life. Ethan, due to management errors, was forced to demote to ordinary employee, working for me. I didn't care, nor harshly blame. In the end, he was just an insignificant passerby in my life. Missed is missed, nothing worth regretting, even less worth hating for a lifetime. I still have a long way to go in life. I won't dwell on one person, nor will I stop for one. All I have to do is keep working hard and keep moving forward. Because behind me, there are countless employees and families.